How you doing, everyone? Hope everyone's feeling better today. Feeling pretty good. Uh, Good vibes to everyone here. Sorry about that. Good vibes. Positive energy, obviously. Here we are. Let's take our walk over here. It's pretty pleasant out. It's not too cold. Let's talk about, we always talk about, you know, this separation, impending divorce over here. People are going to, for those of you that are going through it right now, I'm just letting you know that it's going to be tough. You don't know what to expect, what's going to happen. So I'm going to explain to you because you have to really prepare yourself. I don't know how quickly things are going to move. They might move quickly, they might not. For me, I'm approaching almost a year since my wife left. Late February, early March when she left, around that time. And a few months later she had met someone, like in May, something like that. And then not long after, she filed for separation, legal separation, like in July. So it was heartbreaking, but I had an idea something like that was going to happen. So I want to prepare yourself. So I want to talk about what to expect. You're probably hurting right now. A lot of stuff is going through your mind. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how fast it's going to move along, how slow. First things first. You're going to deal with a lot of anxiety, that's for sure. You don't know, your mind's going to start playing tricks on you. Your heart is going to feel heavy. That's already going to happen. Or you probably start feeling like that even before you knew what was going on. Or you had a feeling that you was about to go through this stuff. So you have to prepare yourself mentally. You really do, because it's going to be brutal, especially if you have kids. And I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm just telling you the truth. So I want you to prepare yourself for what's about to come. It's going to hurt. This is why I'm here. That's why I want to talk about it. I want to kind of like guide you through what you're going to be going through. You're going to be hurt a lot. I don't know if you're still going to be in the same house or you're going to have to potentially move. Maybe she hasn't moved yet, or maybe she might tell you that you might have to move. And if you don't want to move, then you have to come to some kind of an agreement about the house, because you might not be able to afford to move or go anywhere, family or friend's house. Well, you don't want to get them involved. So you have to come out with some kind of agreement. I mean, if you have a large house, that's fine. You have to avoid seeing each other too as well, because it's not going to be good for you. It's not. Especially when you know what's about to happen. And it might take you a couple of months to move out or something like that. So you also have to prepare yourself for, your significant other meeting someone. It's something that you're definitely going to have to prepare yourself for, because sooner or later they're going to meet someone, and they don't have to be divorced to do that. They can be separated, legally separated. You don't know how fast they're going to move. It might take a couple of months. It might take 6-7 months. You might be out of house by then. You can probably deal with it a little bit better, but you have to prepare yourself for that too, because once you're separated, whether you're a wife or a husband, they have the right to see someone if they want, especially if you haven't been intimate with them in a long time. And things are going through their head right now, just like yours. Probably upset, need a little bit of comfort. They might start going out with their friends and meeting people. It's a new life for them too. You have to remember that, and you have to respect that. Don't get violent. You try not to argue, because it's just gonna make things worse. You know, you have to deal with your coping skills. This is where your coping skills come in. You have to deal with it civilly. You really do. Things are going to be moving along, and you're going to have to prepare yourself. You're going to have to probably move out, most likely, and find yourself a place if you can. If you do, once you move out, well, if you purchase a home, it's going to be a little different because, you know, you can go to an apartment, like I said in one of my videos, and, you know, at least an apartment, if you have, potentially, if you can get back together, you don't have to worry about buying a home. You know, you can rent lease to lease. That's a good thing. If you know you're not going to get back together, then it's probably going to be long term. So you might want to, like, you know, rent an apartment or a home or purchase one. Because, like I said, once you get confirmation, once you know that you're going to be divorced and you're not going to get back together, it's going to be long term. So you have to prepare yourself for that. You're going to have to start moving out, you know, and purchasing furniture and stuff like that. And, you know, if there's kids involved, you probably have to slowly acclimate them to what's going on. If they're teenagers, they're probably already going to know, and kids are going to deal with it differently. You know, I have a 9-year-old, so we didn't really tell her right away, but she just knew that mommy and daddy wasn't going to be living together any longer. She probably thought it was like short term, but I think she knows now that it's going to be long term, permanent. Like I said, we kind of like acclimated her slowly because, you know, kids, they can't digest that just right. I mean, right now, I mean, they're 9 years old, their brain is not fully formed, so, you know, you have to be very careful. One of the first things you're going to start feeling is you're going to feel really sad and lonely. You're going to start living by yourself. This is when you have to, like, be really vigilant about how your brain is going to affect you. Your mind is going to start thinking things with you. You're going to start thinking about things that you don't want to think about. And it's going to happen, and it's just the way it is. It's how you deal with it. You know, if you're, like I say, if it's amicable, then it's fine. You're not going to have a problem because it's something that you both chose to do. So everyone deals with it differently. But, you know, if you're on the receiving end like I am, you're going to have a hard time. Especially at night, in the evening. That's when you're most vulnerable. So you're going to want to go out, like I said, you know, go find something to do. Remember the things you used to do when you were single, before you met your wife or your husband. Things that made you happy, hobbies, you know, certain activities, exercising, which is a great way to, you know, forget about what's going on, focus on your health. Definitely focus on your health because that's going to be affected too. And I know because I experienced it. I lost 23 pounds in a month and a half, which is a lot of weight. It was brutal. You know, I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. I had food in the house. I couldn't sleep. You're going to lose sleep too as well. You have to prepare yourself for that. You know, if you have to take something for it, you take something for it. But don't, you know, you have to proceed with caution. Make sure it's something over the counter or something that's prescribed from you, from your doctor. Don't take any drugs, illegal drugs. They're not good for you in general, and it's just going to make matters worse. If you're a person that drinks, use caution, all right? Because you might start drinking a little bit more excessively, and that's going to take you downhill. Trust me, I know. I really don't drink as much. Never did, and I'd have alcohol in my house, but I just chose not to drink because I know that alcohol can send you down the spiral way where you can't recover from it. You know, you're going to become an alcoholic, or you can depend on it, or you're going to drink a lot more than what you usually do. And it's just going to make it worse. It really is. And like I say, drugs, stay away from it. You know, people, you know, smoke weed because it's, you know, it's probably legal now, and you might smoke it leisurely, but it's also going to make you feel worse. It's kind of it could be labeled as a depressant. Just remind yourself that, because it might make you relax a little bit, but it's also going to make you feel worse. You're going to be in the house. There's going to be no activity in the house. It's going to drive you crazy. That's why you have to prepare your mental state up here, because, like I said, that's the one thing that's going to start affecting you is your mind. Your heart's going to affect you too, but a little differently. You're going to be hurt, but your mind is going to be the one that's going to be affecting you the most. Now, they work together, but you got to stay focused. Continue working. If you feel that this is affecting your ability to do your job, don't be afraid to take a family medical leave of absence if you have to. Most jobs will give you that, because, you know, if you don't say anything to your employer and it's affecting your ability to work, don't wait too late to say something, okay? Just let them know what's going on, because everyone goes through this, and your employer will work with you, okay? They will. They even have programs that would benefit you. Take advantage of those programs. They work, you know, because if you decide to go to therapy, it's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you money, especially if you go out of network. You know, therapy is a good way to deal with your emotions, your coping skills, and you can get a lot of positive feedback from your therapist. They can guide you along the way. Don't be afraid. Go on social media. Look at some channels like this one here, and people are going to talk about what's going on and how you can deal with it. Those are good places to go to for information. I do this because, you know, for people who are going through the same thing I'm going through, they find it a lot easier to watch these videos, and they can relate to some of the things I'm saying, which is kind of like therapeutic too, in a way, except that you don't have to pay for it. So, but definitely subscribe to it and ring that notification, that bell, and give a thumbs up. But you're going to go through it, and it's going to be very emotional for you. If you're a very sensitive person, you might want to seek counsel, okay? Whether it's a program that you have to go to, family members, and good friends. Those are good people that you can go to and talk to. If you don't have any family members, visit some of your good friends. If you don't have any friends, go find some. You know, go to coffee shops, museums. You know, go to places where there are people that you can meet. You can meet people anywhere. I met a few friends out of the blues, and they're becoming lifelong friends, just like that. I met them by accident. Now we're real good friends, going on 10 years now. But you're gonna need a support system, because you're gonna go through some, this is trials and tribulations here. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna go through some months, 6, 7 months, even a year. There's really no time frame, to be honest with you. Recovery time takes patience. You need patience. You know, I suggest don't, you know, for me, don't jump into a relationship, because it's not going to be fair for the person that you're involved with to be getting in a relationship like that, because you're not going to be able to give them quality time or the time they need to be with you. You can't talk about what's going on unless you meet someone who's gone through the same thing that you went through and wants to be there for you, and you enjoy their company. That's fine, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good support system there. That's what you want. But there are going to be some times where you're going to be home. You're going to be alone. And it's going to drive you nuts. You know, you got to find something to do. Like I said in some of my videos, watch some movies. A lot of movies if you have to. I don't care. Series, limited series, documentaries, whatever. Keep away from the rom-com, romance comedy. I'm telling you, they're not great. I mean, there's a lot of great movies out there, but you don't need that right now. You know, right now you need to focus on dealing with your emotions, your insanity, and you got to focus on focus forward, because you're going to be single, and you probably haven't been single in a long time, and this is new to you. You've probably you've been married for 15 years, 20 years, like me, 11 years, and it's something you have to, you know, acclimate again. You have to, you know, get used to being by yourself again. If you have children, you can always see them, and I encourage you to see your children as much as you can, because that's also therapeutic, and your children are going to miss you, because you're no longer going to be there all the time. So that's going to be on your mind too. That's going to affect you a little bit. But if you see them all the time on a regular basis, then it's going to be good for you. My advice to you would be, you know, don't bother your significant other, really. When they say it's done and they're done, you gotta respect that. You know, don't cause problems. Like I said in some of my other videos, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. You're gonna get yourself in trouble, and then you're not gonna be able to see your kid. And then if you think that you might have a slight chance of reconciling with your ex, that's out the door. You can forget about it. You know, you won't get a second chance or even a third chance. And for the majority of people that are going to get back together, you're not separated. You're just not living together right now because you're having problems. Even if you can get back with your ex, do it. I recommend doing it. But you have to change everything that you do, everything that brought you in that situation, like the situation that I'm in. You change everything about you, because whatever it is that you're doing, it's not working. You have to be the person who you were when you first met, okay? That's who you have to be with. I mean, who you have to be, because that's the person she fell in love with. You know, and people change, you know? You get married 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, 15 years, you're probably not that same person. You know, if you're not healthy, go to the gym, work out. You know, working out is great. It's therapeutic. Believe it or not, it is. You might start feeling better. You start looking better, and then you can, you're happier. You know, because if you look better and you feel better, you're a happier person. You know, it's just a proven fact. That's what a stat says, anyway. You know, if you have a hard time getting out the house, you know, if you're one of those persons, if you're a hermit, you know what I mean? If you're not antisocial, then you want to go to, like, I guess maybe small gatherings or something like that, or get out of the house. You know, if you're not a people person, you still have to get out of the house. Go for walks, purchase a bike, go cycling, go for a ride somewhere. You got to clear your head, but proceed with caution if you're driving, because you don't want to be thinking about what's going on and you're driving, and next thing you know, you're getting into an accident. You don't want to do that. But you're going to be going through some things, and you have to prepare yourself mentally, really mentally, physically too, but more mentally, because it's not going to be easy, and it's going to take a while. It really is. When the weather breaks a little bit and the sun comes out more, you could be more inclined to come out. That's what you want to do. Go outside to your yard, take that time to do some projects you want to do around your house. When you purchase a house, or you're renting an apartment or whatever, not apartment, but you're renting a house, keep your mind busy. That's what you want to do. Keep your mind busy. Don't figure out what's going on, because you're going to start getting things in the mail. Maybe she has an attorney, and things are moving along. You're going to start getting letters from the attorney. and it's gonna bring back, things like that are gonna hurt a little bit. You're gonna have to sign some legal separation papers and stuff like that, which is, heartbreaking because I had to do it. I remember I had to sign these papers, and it was like, I knew my marriage was in trouble. Really, in trouble. Once you get that legal separation, it's almost pretty much a done deal. A lot of people don't recover from that. A lot of couples don't recover from that. You have to change who you are, and you do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because you want to get her back. You have to be very vigilant about that. You have to be sincere about it. Don't do it just to get her back. Do it because you want to change and you want to be the person she met. Okay? Because you're just gonna go back into the same situation that you were before. It's not gonna work. It's gonna last for a couple of months. Then you're gonna see yourself. You're gonna be in that same predicament that you're in now. And then everything is gonna start all over again, and you don't want that. Like I said, find some activity to do. You get these papers, just sign the papers. You don't prolong it, because if you know you're gonna get a divorce, just sign the paper. The quicker this thing comes, the quicker it is, and that's what you want. You don't want to stall. You have to live your life. You really do. You have to live your life. You gotta proceed with your life. It's a new chapter in your life. You have to welcome it with open arms. You really do, because sitting around and moping for months at a time isn't going to work. You never know. The person that you're supposed to be with could be around the corner. Okay? The person you're with now might not be the person you're going to end up being with. Remember that. And sometimes it's not a good match. It might be in the beginning, but eventually somewhere along the line, things change, people change, and you're arguing a lot, and then sooner or later, somebody's going to say, this isn't working for me. And people, like I said, people change, and you have to respect that. You have to move on. So you need to move on, okay? It's gonna hurt, like I said. You're gonna have to move out, and you're gonna have to purchase a home. But at the end of the day, the longer this goes, the better you're gonna feel about it. Really, because I do have my ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. I still have my ups and downs, but I'm having a lot more ups than downs. So that's great. This is why I decided to go on vacation in a couple of weeks, because that's going to do me good. Go down to the Caribbean, get some sun, decompress, rewire my brain, reboot my brain, come back fresh. That's what you want. Sometimes you might have to take a vacation, even if it's like just out of the blues. Just do it. If you have to get out and go away, get away, do it. Okay? Maybe you have a family member that you haven't seen in a couple of years in another state. Go see them. You have to vent. You really do. Also, you want to start dividing assets too. This is for the people who knows they're not gonna get back together. You gotta start dividing assets. Like I mentioned earlier in my tapes, in my videos. You got. If you have like a bundle package insurance with your home, you're gonna have to, separate that. You're gonna have to cut the ties. Get your own insurance, and start transferring everything to your new home. That's already a given. Don't start like stripping the house of furniture and stuff like that because you're angry. You're gonna be angry. This is where you need to take a breather, cool down, stay calm, and just leave it there. Especially if you have children, just get new furniture. If it takes you a month to get new furniture, it takes you a month to get new furniture. Not a big deal. Go on. For people who can't afford it, if you don't have the money to buy these things, just go on Facebook Market and get something that's nice, that's clean, that's not going to cost that much. You can always replace it later. You know, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure it's clean. You know, and you gotta get used. If you have to buy something used, then you buy something used. It's all replaceable later. You can, you know, replace all that stuff later with new stuff if you want. You don't have to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on materialistic things, because, you know, if you do, well, if you do, there's nothing wrong. If you do, just make sure that you're gonna be in that home for a while. It's gonna be permanent. You know, don't buy something just for now, thinking that you might get back what you call it, and you can just get rid of it. It's not going to work like that. You know, just make sure you, like I said, if you don't have, you know, the cash to be spending a whole bunch of money on something, then don't. It's not worth it. But you're gonna have to start, you know, living on your own and buying your own groceries. Everything that your wife did, you're gonna have to do now. Washing your own clothes. If you don't wash your clothes, I've always washed my own clothes. Clean the house, you know, tend to your yard or whatever. You're gonna want to do all that anyway, because it's gonna give you peace of mind. But you have to look forward to your new life. It's a new chapter in your life, and you know, and you gotta be strong too, because it's going to hurt. And I'm telling you, it's going to hurt, and you have to be strong. Because you're going to have a lot of downs in the beginning, then you will ups. That's for sure. And you're going to feel the urge of not to want to do anything. And I'm telling you, don't do it, because you're gonna fall into a place where you might not crawl out of. Okay. So you have to be, you know, very vigilant about that. Just make sure you eat healthy. Don't eat out all the time. It gets expensive. You know, you go exercise. It's good for you. It really is. If you never exercise before, if you haven't for a while, just go and do it. It's good for your mind and your body. You know, and it kind of like detoxifies your body too. And like I said, stay away from the drugs. Stay away from the drinking. You know, and it's okay to drink a couple of beers at the house with friends. Have friends over. It's gonna keep you busy. You know, play some games, board games, poker, whatever it is that you do. Cook. You want to keep your mind occupied, but and if you're going to drink with caution, because that's, you know, alcohol is also a depressant. Don't think it ain't. It isn't. It is. All these, you know, drugs and alcohol it could cause you to spiral out of control, and next thing you know, you're going to find yourself out there being very emotional in front of people, and you're going to start crying. And I did a lot of crying, you know, and you're going to embarrass yourself. You embarrass yourself around your friends, and you're not going to care. And that's what I did. I didn't care. I was very emotional. You know, I made a fool of myself a lot. But I couldn't blame anybody but myself, because it was my behavior that chased my wife away. You know, she didn't like my behavior. You know, we were arguing over dumb, petty stuff all the time, you know, and it wasn't worth it. At the end of the day, it was just, you know, if I just walked away, I wouldn't be in this position. I'd still be married, and that's a fact. But I'm going to encourage you to get out of the house if you're feeling, you know, down. Go find something constructive to do. Go to a coffee shop. You know, you can meet people at a coffee shop. You can. My brother met his wife there, and they have a great relationship. They've been married 15 years. You know, go, you know, museums. If you like art, you do that. You know, keep yourself busy. Go visit friends and stuff like that, the close ones. And you just gotta get out of the house. That's the most important thing, especially at night. That's when it's gonna affect you the most. At nighttime, it's gonna affect you the most, because you're gonna be alone in the house, and there's no activity in the house. Your kid's not there. There's nothing to do in the house, and you're gonna be bored, and you're gonna be sad. And so I recommend getting out the house. You know, watch some movies, or, you know, and stuff like that. You know, cook, do some laundry. You know, if you used to do laundry on the weekend, do it during the weekday. Just go downstairs and do some laundry. You gotta keep yourself busy. Keep your mind from thinking about what's going on. Okay, you leave that for another day. You don't want to deal with this every night, because this, to be honest with you, you're going to be dealing with this every night. I dealt with it for 6 months, and it was brutal. Like I said, it took me a long time to recover. Now, I was 196 pounds, and I dropped to 173 in a month and a half. I'm back to 180. So, like I said, I'm only up. That's what you want. So, and again, don't be afraid to leave a comment, all right? I will get back to you. I will respond to your comments, okay? If you need to talk to someone, just leave a comment, okay? I will respond, because everybody needs to talk to someone, especially someone who's going through the same thing that you're going through. You can relate to those people. You can't relate to someone who's never been through it, because they just don't know what you're going through. They really don't. Unless they went through it, they have no idea. They're just speculating. They don't know the kind of pain that you're in, so it's good to talk to someone who's gone through the same thing that you've gone through. Okay, it really does help. So I'm going to leave you guys now, but as always, be strong up here and be strong down here, because they're connected, okay? Just look forward to having a positive day every day, good vibes, good energy. Surround yourself with people who have good energy, and it's going to make it easier for you. And like I said, at nighttime, if you're feeling down or blue, find something to do. Get out of the house, go to the gym. I don't care what time it is. If you can't go to sleep, give yourself something to go to sleep. With caution, don't use drugs. If you need to see a doctor, go see a doctor. He can prescribe you something. Cook, play games, invite your friends over, do laundry, go to your backyard, go do something, okay? Don't be stuck in that house at night feeling upset, because it's going to destroy you. And you're gonna have food in your house, and you're not even gonna eat. I'm telling you, okay? So again, I'm gonna leave you now. So be strong up here, be strong down here, okay? Keep a positive mind, positive energy, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, okay? So be safe. I love you guys. Stay strong. Have a good one.